I can see it, I can achieve it.
Hey, Just Like Me fans, it's Michelle here with another in our Meet the Author series. Today we have the pleasure of speaking with Nikki Charisse Montgomery, and she is the author of two stories that we're going to be talking about today, Power Wheelchair Safety and Hospital Safety. Welcome, Nikki. Thank you for joining the show.
Thanks for having me today.
No problem. So let's get right into it. Why don't you tell us about how you came to write these two books? What was your journey? Because I know you're not an author 100% of the time. So tell us how you began to write these books.
One of the things that I do is I do a lot of work with hospitals and advocacy for parents and families. And I have a child who has a condition that has him in the hospital a whole lot. So one of the things I wanted to do was make sure that when he's in the hospital, he knows how to be safe and he knows how to advocate for himself. And I think what I wanted to do was make sure that families know the same thing. So I wrote the first book, Hospital Safety for Kids, just to really help families understand how to maintain safety in the hospital. There's a ton of research that says that very involved patients get better care. And we want to make sure that when kids are in the hospital, they can help to contribute to getting better care, and their families can help them do that too. And another thing is that my son uses a wheelchair, and he's had one since he was 2 years old. He's 8 now. And he was not always a very safe driver in his wheelchair. He really liked to bulldoze my furniture and dart away and things like that were not really safe. And so part of the reason I wrote Power Wheelchair Safety for Kids was really to get him to be safe in his wheelchair and also to get his friends to understand what he needs to do to be safe in his wheelchair.
I really like both those books for two reasons. One, because you often don't see books where there are disabled characters as the main character, and that we at Just Like Me, we're all about inclusion, and part of inclusion means people that look different than you, that have different abilities than you, and that's one of the reasons why I was drawn to those books. Another reason I really like the book is because the hospital is a scary place for a lot of kids, and I loved hospital safety specifically because there are kids who have to go in the hospital for a variety of reasons. And that book takes away a little bit of that fear and makes you familiar with what to expect when you're there in the hospital. And I really like that. Are you working on any new books now?
I am. I'm working on tracheostomy safety for kids right now. My son, when he was littler, had a trach, and that's a device that helps you to breathe, and it goes through your neck instead of breathing through your nose and mouth. And a lot of the material out there doesn't really focus on kids being safe with their own trachs. It teaches a lot about how parents and families can keep kids safe, but there are some dangers associated with having that kind of device to help you breathe. So the kid themselves and the people around them really need to know how to keep that child safe. So right now that book is in the illustration process, and I'll be really excited to put it out soon.
Oh, we cannot wait to read it. I'm so excited to see it myself. As you're continuing to write these books, and as this is a second career for you, if you were talking to an author who's watching this right now and thinking, you know what, I'm not an author by trade, but I would love to there's a story that's in me that I want to get out. What advice would you have for them?
Well, really, write from your own experience. Part of the reason my characters are diverse is because I didn't see diverse characters in the books for children, especially children with disabilities. And I write from what I know. And so instead of trying to stretch and reach out to some story that is not familiar to me, my story is really familiar to me. The things that are important to me are really familiar to me. And so that's where I think authors should start. Begin being authentic and begin with looking at what in your life needs to be shared. And Toni Morrison has a quote that's something like, write the book that you looked for and couldn't find, or something like that. But really, these are things that I wish were available to me when I was going through that medical journey with my son. And so I wrote what I felt needed to really be out there in the market.
I love that. Write the story that you want to read. I think that's a powerful piece of advice, even if we are borrowing it from Toni Morrison. I think that's an awesome piece of advice. Tell the viewers where they can find copies of your books.
Well, all of my books are available on Amazon.com, and you can look up the Super Safe Kids series because there's a series of 5 books right now, soon to be 6. And it's a series I intend to continue because I think that safety issues are really important for keeping our families healthy, for keeping our kids engaged in how to make good choices.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll continue to write those books, but Super Safe Kids Books on Amazon, or you can go to my website at supersafekidsbooks.com.
Awesome. And you can also find several of her books on the Read Just Like Me website, because she is the newest author to the Just Like Me family. Well, Nikki, I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I thank you so much for all the information that you shared, and we will be looking for that 6th book.
Thank you so much. It's really exciting to be able to share with your readers.
All right, that's all for our Meet the Author series today. Have a great rest of your day. And remember, if I can see it, I can achieve it.
If I can see it, I can achieve it.